We're on.
All right, you guys got to kind of see this setup here. For you guys coming onto the live stream, just know that we're going to be welcoming some people for a moment, and then I'm going to have to reset the cameras because you guys can see this is a little bit of a production here.
A little production here.
We got all sorts of tech going on right now, but this is an exciting exciting time. Hey, Jason Elliott. Good to see you there. Brian Cook, man, we got an exciting show. This is probably the coolest show I've ever done in my life, by far.
It's my first.
And this is Ben's first. Josh Fields from Japan, Tommy O. I'm just honored beyond measure to have Ben Kane here. This is the gentleman who mentored me and helped me become successful. So we have different cameras. I'm not going to be looking at this the entire time because we're videotaping this for a very special production. We just wanted to make this live as well to kind of share with some of you what's going on. But this is going to be a production, which is great.
This is great.
And Susie Floss. Oh my goodness. Hey, Susie. Susie actually watched me as a kid when I was I was 8 or 9 or something.
Oh
Susie's
my gosh,
here.
that's wild. That's wild.
Kim. Hey, Kim. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, everyone. We got some incredible content. And I'm excited about it because I've got the privilege of being with Ben Kane here, and we're going to talk about a journey. We're going to talk about a journey that happened for both of us.
We both have a life's journey and how we came together at a moment in time. And we talked about doing this for a long time, that, you know, someday we'd be able to tell the story of how we got together. And I'm privileged to say Josh calls me his mentor, and that the relationship when you're growing and he looked at me as his mentor, and I said, Josh, it's like, you know, there is no success without having other people have success, especially in the arena of networking where we met. But in life is that success really comes when you help other people to have success. And that I got as much out of the relationship as you used to think you got out of it. I got out of it. And right now, here we are, and this is a different arena. We got lights, camera, action, and I'm being taught now. You're now the teacher.
Well, let's set the stage for those of you guys who are watching this. You know, we met. Actually, I got the application.
This is funny.
So I dug up my first start. Right, in really deciding to become a part of a business. I had some experience previously, but I have my application right here. My first application is dated February 14th on Valentine's Day, the year 2000. But we actually met on the Tuesday, the 8th of February.
A week before.
2000. So that's when we met. Hey, Ignacio Villa's on. What's up, Villa?
Hey, Villa, how you doing? I know Villa.
Yeah. And here's my money order. I didn't have a checking account
or a credit card.
So I had a money order. This is a photocopy of the money order receipt that I got started. It was like all the money I had at that point in life.
It was like, oh yeah, that's probably why it took a weekend. You had to get the next check.
Yeah,
Oh man, boy, have you come a long way. Here we are now. Everybody can look in the background here with Josh's 9,500 square foot, estate here on about an acre of land with a pool in the back that, goes on and on. Looks like a hotel pool.
See this, like,
you can but you can't see it all. There's the chairs on the island in there, and then the pool goes beyond it. So Josh is in a completely different place than he was then.
Let's set the stage here, Ben. So the stage is this, and I think for a lot of people who are going through a similar journey, or maybe you can relate to this in some way, the idea is I wanted to be in business. Yeah. I wanted to be successful. I just didn't know how. I had just gotten out of a crazy situation. I didn't graduate high school. Cleaning floors in the machine shop at this time. I just decided I want to live a better life. I come to a network marketing business opportunity presentation. Reluctantly. Yes. Kim Lutman. I'll never forget this. Kim Lutman invited me for weeks. And finally I said, I'll show up if you stop inviting me.
But you weren't, if you just leave me alone, I'll go to shut you up.
And I sit in like kind of the middle of the room.
If I'm looking at the audience, I think you were on the left side, so it'd be the right side facing the stage.
Yes.
Because I can remember. You say you were lost in the crowd, but you were pretty close to the front there. But you were hiding. Yeah, no, she sat you down front. Because I remember you, because you weren't looking up when I first went up on stage. You were looking down.
Well, I remember walking up to you right after that presentation, asking you if it was real.
Yep.
You said yes, and then anyway. So
no, you told me. Let's get really clear. You told me, it's real. I'm going to go for this. You're going to hear from me. You're going to hear from me. I'm going to do this. I can see you just doing it. Anybody knows Josh? I'm going to do that, and he's going to do it.
So I didn't do it right away.
Well,
I didn't.
True.
I was, and I think for a lot of people, I wanted to be successful. I wanted something magical to happen, maybe, because I didn't understand the process yet. And I'd probably gone to, I don't know, half a dozen events.
You were around for a little while, because I remember that you struggled, and if I could say this, I remember I don't think you were like into following the system. You were like doing it by personal power.
I was doing it my own way.
And you're doing it your own way, and you struggled, but you tried really hard. And then I remember that you came to see me one day.
Now, so I come to see this man, and I'd seen him on the stage. He was like one of those guys. He's the best presenter I'd ever seen. I mean, he was commanding the room. He's just powerful, sharing how it was authentic, real. And that's what I think really resonated with me, is like, it wasn't, I saw a lot of people that were kind of, I don't want to say phony, but it looked like they were actors. It looked like they were putting on a show, and you'd probably know some of the people I'm thinking of right now. And I'm like, man, they're just plastic people. But when you got up there, you spoke with real authority. You spoke with authenticity, matter of fact, and it was well spoken. And I thought to myself, man, I believed you. I'm like, I got to do this. And after about a year or so, well, maybe not, maybe 8 months or so.
Yeah, in between there.
Well, no, because it was around the fall of 2000, because I was struggling, and you said just show up. Just show up.
But you came to see me
at 610 Newport Center Drive.
610 Newport Center Drive, where I did a presentation on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings at 10 o'clock. And I'll never forget it. You came, and it was a small room. I did a presentation on a whiteboard. It wasn't, a big room, around a conference room table. And after we were done, you came up to me and you said, "Will you help me? Will you help me?" And for anybody who knows Josh, Josh, you look into those big blue eyes of his, and they were glassy because he had a little bit of tear coming into his eyes. And I looked into his eyes, and I just told him this recently for the first time, that a voice went off in my head that I'm supposed to help him. You're supposed to help him. And the reason I remember that distinctly was because, I'm thinking, what am I going to do with this guy? He lives in Riverside. It's way out there in Inland Empire. I live along the coast. And what specifically am I going to do to help this one individual? And so I said, because this voice went in my head, I'm supposed to do this. And I just said, just show up wherever I am. You just be with me wherever I am, and we'll do this together. We'll just make something happen.
And here's what's crazy, guys. I remember showing up at his presentation, taking notes like crazy. I learned how to, you're like, look, just be the best person in the room that you can be.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did that, because I didn't have any guests to introduce to my opportunity yet. So I'm showing up and I'm taking notes on everything you said. I remember I got to the point where I could write down the words you were going to say before you said them, so I could get ahead of myself, so that way I could take notes on how you delivered the information and how he was dressed, how he was holding the pen. I mean, I have those notes still, which is crazy. And I was writing all that stuff down, and then I remember you said, you should probably start bringing some people.
Yeah, I did. I said, Josh, I got an idea. I said, why don't you bring somebody with you next time? And then he brought, and I watched this, Eric Zimmerman.
Yeah.
Eric Zimmerman. And then you'd bring Eric, and Eric would come with you every week. And I said, you both should bring somebody with you new, But it was a learning experience, and I think what was really important was that the genuineness of your effort. You see, you were sincere to want to learn. You had this burning white hot desire, because people would say all the time, who has the most success? Who are the people who had the greatest success? And the people who had the greatest success wasn't their formal education. And you only went to 10th grade. Well, I only, I'm way older, but maybe it's not a big a deal. But I only went to 12th grade. And one of the things that I could relate to was your burning white hot desire. And I remember when I was a young guy that I had this burning white hot desire. And quite frankly, I felt righteously indignant that I didn't have more. I wanted more, and I didn't know how to get it. And other people introduced me to different things along the way with personal development. And here you were, I'm looking at you and I'm seeing myself as a much younger guy, 30 years younger to be exact. And that the burning desire that you had, that you were coachable and teachable, that you showed up, you wanted to participate, you wanted to make something happen, you were internalizing it. So it was like the seeds were being planted in fertile soil. And we can go, people hear all the time about, Jim Rohn and the story about the seeds and the birds get some. It gets right, got that right out of the Bible, by the way, is that there was fertile soil, and you were somebody worth putting the energy into, because you wouldn't be denied, and you were a totally great student.
I'm honored by that. I think for a lot of people, I think that's one of the things I think I needed to learn is I wanted at that time in my life someone to just come and grab me and make me go do what I wasn't willing to do. And that's like kind of putting the cart before the horse. You gotta have that desire, be willing to show up, be willing to take the notes, be willing to read the books, be willing to listen to the audios, be willing to
pay the price.
And then the mentors show up in your life. And this is what's crazy. This is what, and again, there was all of that. For those of you that are going, well, I want a mentor, I want somebody like that. They say when the student is ready,
the teacher will appear.
And that's what happened for me is Ben appeared in my life and such an amazing way. And for those of you that are working with people, I think this is an important thing to do, because this is what this man did for me all the time. And you made so many incredible calls. I'll never forget this. We were talking about this earlier. But I lived in Riverside, and I remember going down Van Buren. For those of you that are familiar with Southern California geography, Newport Beach is kind of on the coast, and there was an event there. And then where I worked kind of by the coast, which was Santa Ana, and I'd have to drive up the 55 freeway to the 91. I'd take that all the way home. Sometimes it took me 2 hours to get home. Yeah. And I'd exit. It was dark out, and I'm coming down Van Buren. The signal was weak, the cell signal, and you called me, and I'd see his name on my caller ID, and I'd get all fired up. Oh my God, Ben Kane's calling me, and it was so exciting. And you would just tell me that I was worth it. You would tell me that I could make it. And you breathed life into me. And that's, I think, so important. A lot of people don't do that, but you always did that for me. And it really changed things for me in a big way.
And that's a two-way street, though, Josh. See, is that here I'm trying to build a business. And I was, I was not a network marketer. I was a franchise guy. And when I came into network marketing and trying to build a business, I didn't have an army of people that followed me from someplace else. I mean, I had to work with people that wanted to work and build it one piece at a time. And I looked at it like when I was in the franchising industry, building a franchise sales rep. And a franchise sales rep, you had to actually find somebody that really wanted to do something, and you would work with them to transfer what you had and all of what you knew to them to empower them. But you had to have somebody that was going to respond. And you were somebody that was responding. I mean, I would drive out to Riverside, you'd do it for a meeting for you, and you'd have all these little white chairs set up with your guys and Toby Schindelbeck.
Yeah, right? Toby Schindelbeck.
Toby Schindelbeck.
And the Max Muscle there.
He had the Max Muscle store, move all the stuff out of the way and set up the chairs there. And I would come out to do the presentation. And you say, well, why would you come so far for us? I said, because you filled the room. You see, doing a presentation doesn't mean anything if there isn't anybody there, and that we work together as a team. So when I called you and I believed in you, because you were absolutely believable, you wanted to make something happen. You were committed to make something happen. You were working at it. You were going to make something happen. And quite frankly, without you, where was I? I wouldn't have had a meeting in Riverside, so like I could have sat home. What am I going to do? It's like you have to have a team effort. And so success comes when you help other people to have success. And there's a little cliche: there is no success without successors. But the person who's the leader at the time and the teacher at the time, which I was then, and here with all these cameras and everything, you're the teacher now. And so it's come full circle that you're showing me how to do different things. But if you don't have somebody to work with, you got nothing. You got absolutely zippo, nada, nothing. So when you find somebody that's responsive and somebody that really wants to make something happen, is that you work with them. And you know, somebody said, what's a successful person? How do you know you got one? And I said, it's not their education. It's not their background. It's not where they came from. It's that they have burning white hot desire to be someplace different than where they are.
Hey, Lisa Grossman's on. What's up, Lisa?
How you doing, Lisa? Burning white hot desire to be someplace different than where they were.
Right.
And then when they see the opportunity that you have, they see it as a vehicle. It's going to take them where they already knew they wanted to go, but didn't know how they were going to get there. And that was you. And without you, I wouldn't have. What was I going to do?
I love you. I think you could have poured that into a lot of other people. But Eric, to give some context, when I met Ben had built one of the largest organizations in the company that I got started with him, and it was remarkable. Still to this day, in network marketing, some of those people have come out, are leaders, are major people, distributors, or seven-figure earners all over the profession now, which is crazy.
It is
and
crazy.
There's a lot of people that were just at Eric Gorey's event.
Oh, that was fun.
People from all over the place have come up and we're talking about what you've done and how you'd changed your lives, which is crazy because I know it's surreal from being on the other end, but for me, like the impact you made on my life is, I don't know the right words for it. So I got to tell you guys all, this man is one of the best builders in the profession. And Ben, if you could, maybe you could give your start, just kind of your start. You were talking about a little bit about being from franchising, but how did you get started in this crazy profession of network marketing?
It was called forced entry. I'd been in the franchising industry and started out in the real estate franchising world with a company called Century 21 when it was a new idea. And I grew up through the ranks. I bought a franchise, grew up through the ranks, and ended up running the Northeast region for that another World Trade Center in Manhattan. And then from there, I was national sales manager for another real estate franchise company. Then I got this wonderful idea that I was going to go start a franchise of my own, which I did, called Dial One, which was a contractor network.
I still see those trucks on the road.
We at one time had 3,000 vehicles on the road, 1,200 franchises across the country, and average invoice $300. We did $454 million in 1987, and there was no internet, and it was really
That's like
hard.
$1 billion today.
It was really hard, but we weren't really making a profit because it cost so much to do what we were doing. So we looked really big, but we were hurting. So I had venture capitalists come in. They came in and put up a lot of money, big guys, guys who started Office Depot and Apria Healthcare and 200 other companies like that. And at the last minute, they wanted to put somebody else in charge to run the company and took me out of the seat as the CEO. And that broke my heart. And the guy that came in, I had to approve him. And then he completely dismantled everything that I had learned, which is what I wanted the funding for. And so the long and the short of it is that it didn't work out for me there. And I had to go do something else. And I walked away after better than a decade. And I'm not proud of this, but I walked away after a decade with nothing, zippo, nada. And I was broke, and I was looking for an opportunity. And as an entrepreneur, where do you go as an entrepreneur without a bunch of money to invest? And long and the short of it was network marketing. And so the first company I got into got shut down about 3 months after I was in it. Second company that I got into was TPN with Eric Gorey and Jeff Olson. And a couple months after I got on board, they merged into a company called Prepaid Legal that's Legal Shield today. And that's where I was, with no network marketers, no network marketing really any experience, and burning white hot desire to make something happen. And I learned there a simple system of duplication, step 1, step 2, step 3, and I would do the presentation. I was good in front of the room because I had done that in the franchising world, and I knew about systems, and I knew systems were the key to success, and that, you know, the system is the star, right? It's not about personal power. It's about following a simple system of duplication. And duplication means you got to go find people that are going to become leaders. And one thing I always remember when people say, why do you build deep? I said, you build people. And that's why it didn't matter whether on my second level or my 20th level, didn't matter whether I enrolled them or didn't enroll them. None of that mattered. What mattered was finding people that had desire to build something and put everything you had into those people so that you'd have a team of people all saying the same thing, doing the same thing, and selflessly building an organization. And when you do that, it explodes. And I was blessed. I mean, our team got to where we put on 6,500 new memberships every month, whether I got out of bed or not. And it wasn't because of me. It was because of you, David Stecky, Twan McWin, all these different guys and gals that were part of the team that worked together in a culture of really helping one another. And that's why I believe there is no success without successors, period.
Now, I want to touch on something because I think this the topic is mentorship, and you hit it, right? You don't build deep, you don't build wide, you build people. And that's what you did for me. And I want to say this because I think for a lot of you out there may feel a very similar situation that I know I did. I didn't feel like I was worth it. You know, I'm almost ashamed to admit that, but I didn't feel worthy. I felt like I was less than, or I'm not good enough. You know, that was like a deep-seated thing. And I don't like to ever admit that, but that's how I felt when I saw people that were successful, at least appeared successful. And, you know, that was my from you. And I was always like, so, oh my goodness. And I remember one of the things that you did that really helped me was you slapped that out of me, not in a disrespectful way or not being for that, me being disrespectful for you, but I kept looking up to you in such this amazing way. You said, Josh, look, we're just all people.
Just people.
And I point out all these other people who I was idolizing. And you're like, you get the idol out, you know, kind of throw the golden calf on the ground. Yep. That you can do it, that I'm not better than you. And I think that's a hard thing to do for a lot of leaders, because for a lot of people, once they get the edification, and one of the things our profession's known for is this idol worshiping, and there's a part to play there. I'm not throwing it all out the window. You don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, but you know, a lot of people let that go to their head. That they think that they're super special.
They actually start to believe that it was all about
them. They start to believe that.
Which is nonsense. It's nonsense. It's about us. It's about we. It's about the team. You can't build in network marketing without a team, a collaboration of people that have a common goal. You know, when you're a little baby, you're dependent. And then you're dependent on your parents for absolutely everything: food, clothing, shelter, everything. Feed you the bottle, wipe your fanny. Then you become independent. And that's when people start to think and get a little too cocky. This is it. Well, I'm independent. I can do it all myself. You see it with teenagers and young adults, and then they think they know it all until they understand that the real key to success is being interdependent. Is that when you are interdependent with others who can stand up and walk and chew gum too, right? It's not like that you're like some star. It's that we collectively together have a power. And with a common goal, working together, you can do anything. It's when you start to think, just one thought. It's like, I used to get embarrassed, okay? When we go to the big conventions, and we had the pictures in the book, and people would sign it.
People stand in line for hours.
Stand in line to get a signature. And I used to go to my hotel room sometimes to hide out because I was embarrassed because I knew I didn't deserve that. You see, David Stecky is an example on team. Remember David?
Oh, of course.
I mean, David.
I'll never forget David as long as I live.
David was such a contributor, and it's like, these people are on David's team, and like, I don't deserve that. I recruited David. I worked with David like I work with you. But then David went and built that. I didn't build that. He went and built that. And so we did it together. And for my, every ounce of my being is that the culture of a team where people are selflessly working together, that culture will not be denied. It's when your ego gets out there and you think it's all about you that things break down, and then people have envy and jealousy, which they shouldn't have. We should just have everybody going in one direction and just do the very best that you can do, and know that every single person counts. Everybody counts.
I was what really gravitated me to you all those years ago, and still to this day, is your heart for making sure that, you know, number one, that you're putting up the relationship first, you're helping someone else, and that it's not about you. You're not feeding your own ego with with all the praise that comes in this space. And I like I said, there is a place for it. I think, though, because I like being with the people and being with them and present with them, but I do what you did for me. I'm always going, look, you can do the same thing. I'm not better. I'm not special. And I learned that from you, and I think it really helped me, because it was a good role model for me in life. Because I see a lot of people, unfortunately, they get around the person who wants to beat their own chest, and they replicate that because they think that's what it takes to be successful. But it doesn't.
Because you duplicate yourself whether you like it or not. Whether it's good or bad, you're going to duplicate yourself. You see,
look, Scott Mitchell's on. What's up, Scott Mitchell?
Hey, Scott Mitchell. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have a little daughter that's 9 years old. I wouldn't be married to Sonny if it weren't for you.
Scott,
that's something. He's on there watching. That's great, Scott.
Sorry for all the rest of the cameras up here, guys. We're doing a Facebook Live. Ben, you've taught me so much. One of the things, and I know we're jumping around a little bit, but we're going to get to some additional content. I remember going to your house, and you invited me to your house. This is after we've been working together for a while. I'm showing up. We're building the business, and you invite me to the house for the first time, which I was unbelievably fired up to. And I go to your house in Newport Coast, and
I
remember that?
I was getting ready to move.
The
closet.
And I see your yellow pad with all the with the names. Because in network marketing, of course, you make a list of everybody and you call them and you show them your opportunity. And I guess it was, for whatever reason, in my mind back then, I thought like you were just above that, like you just walked in and you were like a Jedi that you had your list. You remember that? I'm like, you did, and
I said, here, look at all the names. I said, look at page after page after
and they're
page.
all no, and then a couple yeses in between all that, just hundreds of no's.
And I said, look at the ones that said yes. Now, out of the ones that said yes, how many of them became the players? No, but this one led me to this one, led me to this one, to that one, and that was the one that was the player.
And that's the key, as you're building your business. It's not everyone's trying to. I've learned this, Ben. Everyone's trying to recruit the man or woman that's just going to go do it.
Going to make you rich.
So they don't have to.
No, it's like this.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to sign them up, and after they do, they always go like this.
Yeah, please. I'm going to turn the camera back on.
I hope they can figure this out.
All right, keep going.
They're going to go. I hope they can figure out what I couldn't figure out. They're hoping somebody else is going to figure it out, and that they're going to have this great success as a result. And it isn't about any one person. Now, it could be that you get one
Tracy
person.
Zimmer's on. Tracy and her incredible team just had 100 promotions.
Wow.
In their business. 100 in the last 4 weeks.
That's amazing.
100 people promoted. Outstanding, that whole organization. Twan Nguyen's on. Look, Twan, what's up, buddy? Twan says, Ben Kane, he changed my life.
Twan Nguyen.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Twan, we were talking about you earlier today.
Yeah, and just now. Right?
Yeah, we were just talking about you, but we were talking about you earlier today too. And Twan, let me just tell you a story about Twan Nguyen.
From Costa Rica. Yeah, Twan. Tell about Twan.
Let me tell you about Twan Nguyen. I remember Twan Nguyen when he came on board, and it was David Stecky that recruited Twan, and Twan. I mean, Twan didn't own a shirt with a collar on it. It's like, I'm going to wear a suit, I'm going to wear a tie. He couldn't even, where am I going to get that from? And how am I going to buy that? I'm making, I think, what you were making, $10 an hour then. And his mom and dad were really upset with him doing this network marketing stuff. What are you doing? You go to work, go back to work. But Twan would show up. Every week, Twan would show up.
Like clockwork. and
quiet,
David Tran.
and David with him, and they were quiet, they were humble, they were studious, they listened. And today he's got to be one of the top trainers out there, one of the top players in the industry. I bar none do I believe you're going to find anybody that knows any more about what to do than Twan does today. And I remember Twan came out when I lived in the desert. Remember Twan? He came out to my house in Indian Wells.
Stecky. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah,
Josh in his blue suit back in the day. Yeah, I remember. Yep. My thrift store suit.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But you think about that and where you came from, Twan, and where you are today, and how you grew. And I remember you came out. We went out. We talked about this. I talked to Twan not long ago. He came out to the house in Indian Wells, and we went out to the Yard House. And he had his team with him. Carla was there, and I think maybe there was a total, maybe eight of them all together. And he still remembered what we had. We had the angel hair pasta with the vodka shrimp with the shrimp sauce. He remembered. I mean, this got to be 14 years ago, and he remembered. But that he took direction, and he would load it up on the calls, and we did conference calls, and got him promoted to executive director within 30 days. So we'll do it in 30 days. He said, can we do that really? Because he was doing like 14, 15 sales a month, and you needed 75 in a month to go executive. I said, we'll go executive. You just follow what I share with you to do. We'll do it as a team. You put him on the phone. I'll do the calls. And he did it, and he has never looked back since, and the guy is a monster in the industry.
He's done exceptional. And I'm glad you're on, Twan, and others, but we look at this, so many great people are on. It's the ripples in the pond. We're all gone different directions. We've all built in other areas, but the impact you made on so many people's lives is amazing. And that's what's crazy about, number one, being a student. Because in order to be a mentor to someone else, you got to be a student to somebody. They say in order to lead, you got to be a good follower. You got to follow somebody. And then if you follow someone for a ways, you learn everything that you possibly can, and then you follow some other people. And eventually you'll become a leader, and other people will follow you, but because you were first a student, because you were first a follower. And, Ben, I look at so many people that followed your example, and the ripple effect of goodness that's gone out is amazing. What a great way. What a great way. How do you quantify that feel?
I'll do it. I'll do this. It's like, I remember David Stecky. And those who know David Stecky know this. David Stecky, I was trying to recruit his girlfriend at the time, Sherelle, and they eventually got married there. But and David, when I first met him, he had a ponytail. He was about 6'1", great shape. It was in Newport Beach. He comes right up, puts his face right up like that on my face. I'm like, back down, boy, back down. And it's like, oh my gosh, this guy. But he was a Jersey boy. I'm a Jersey guy. He was from Jersey. So we hit it off, and he came on board. And I thought I was going to buffer with him. I put him down underneath David Wiseman, and I think even John Wolf in there. But I put him down under. Didn't mean anything. He's right in my face. But David became a student of personal development. He became a student of personal development, and he became the biggest producer on my team.
Jesse Garcia and Jesse McPherson.
Another star there, Jesse McPherson, no question about it. And here's what I remember about David Stecky, is that David Stecky became a guy that wanted to, he was like the bull in the china shop that became the absolute complete giver. It didn't even matter if you were on his team and his organization, it didn't make any difference, is that he went to help other people. And he would help them. And after the business briefing in Newport Beach, it didn't make any difference. He was always there with somebody in a circle up. And then afterward, we'd be in the bar. He'd be with people. And then he would go home with people and help them make their list that night.
Yeah, people who didn't even make them. I was one of them. I remember one time David stayed with me till like 2 in the morning, wouldn't stop talking. It was just him and I left.
Right.
And he was just selling me. And I wasn't on his team.
Right.
But I was like so enamored by his energy.
And passion.
And his passion. And now here's a guy who's never been in networking before, right? Never really did. We never had success anywhere, right?
But you know what his claim to fame was? Stecky steak and seafood. He had a Chevy Astro van with a little refrigerator in the back, and he went door to door selling it. The most he ever made was $60,000 in a year, and that's before the expenses of paying for the stupid van. I mean, but he had heart, he had soul, he had desire. but he would not be denied. And I got to finish this piece about him. What he got cancer. He got pancreatic cancer, and he didn't tell everybody, but he was dying. And he was bleeding internally, and he came the last day to do a training, and he was late. They weren't going to let him go on stage, but they let him go on stage. It was over in Long Beach.
I remember.
And he went up. He did his presentation, and he remember the part where he drew the little lines on the whiteboard. Those little tiny little lines on the whiteboard. And what he was saying is that just he circled 3 or 4. He says, live with passion for 3 or 4 years. Really go for it and make a difference in the rest of your life.
This is key.
And if you go for it for that short, sustained period of time, you're going to make a difference in people's lives. And they started to play the music to get him to get off the stage. And he started dancing. And he danced to the music to finish his presentation. And that was the last time that he was ever able to train. But to his deathbed, he would call somebody every day to encourage them to live with passion and to go for it and to try to make a difference in other people's lives. And here's the end result. When he was passing away, and I was in the hospital there, and I held his hand, and I couldn't even recognize him. He was so deteriorated. But I said, David, just like what you said about we all make ripples in the pond of life. I said, David, you were like the biggest boulder I've ever seen thrown in a pond of life. You are making waves all the way to the edge of the pond, all the way around. And people will never forget you. And they still talk about him to this day.
I mean, Twan just said, let's see if we go back, so David Stecky is one of the most amazing men, aside from my father, who ever lived. You know, but and I know. Twan's not the only one who feels that way. And
1,700 people showed up at his service at Mariners Church. 1,700 plus people. They would never let you do anything at a convention about eulogizing somebody, but they did it to prepaid convention. What, 17,000 people in the room?
Right.
They didn't even get to say his name, and everybody knew what was coming.
And everybody stood. Remember, we're standing in the skybox.
Yes.
We're up in that skybox,
yes.
And that was the most surreal. Like my hair still stood on the back of my neck. If you can picture 10,000 plus people, we're up on this thing, and I don't know.
Didn't even say the name.
They didn't say his name yet, and everyone stood in unison. Yep. We're in the back, and didn't ask someone to stand. No one cued it. They just came out and said, "Look, we've got something to share," and everybody stood.
Yep.
Oh, I get the chills just thinking
about it.
They
knew what it was. One of our associates has passed, and we want to share something in remembrance of him, and with that, the whole room stood up. We could see 10,000, but there were 17,000 people in the room, and they all stood up and cheered because everybody knew the way he gave. Now, what's so powerful about this is that when you pass from this life, and we all will, and you know, it's coming sooner than you think, and it lasts a fairly long time, is that what you leave behind, that legacy you leave, is not going to be how much money you made. It's not going to be any of those material things. You're going to take any of that with you, and that will all go by the wayside when you leave. But we're still talking about David Stecky because he impacted other people's lives, and it was the legacy of touching other people selflessly that made the difference. And from my perspective, what I loved about network marketing, the thing I loved the most, was making the difference in other people's lives, not for any other intention than that you're building something, and the joy in building, and the greatest, I'm going to tell you right now, the greatest reward you can ever get. Josh, when I read your book in one sitting. I sat there and tears ran down my face because joy, I could see the struggles that you went through. And I know how hard it was. I know how many times you got knocked down, but how many times you got back up. When I talked to Twan DeWin recently, and he told me about how his organization has grown and the passion with which he builds in it, it made me, I mean, it's like I could hardly hold it back. About in your life, to have a legacy, I mean, to do what David did, to do what you're doing, to do what Twan is doing, to do what Jesse's doing, to really, truly make a difference in other people's lives is the greatest reward that you're ever going to have in this life. Bar none. Everything else, no matter how much money you make, no matter what car you have, none of that will ever matter as much as the difference you can make in other people's lives. I love you.
Man, this is the reason I love what we do, man. I love network marketing. I love the profession. because if it wasn't for it, there was no way we'd have ever, we'd have never met.
I wouldn't have a daughter. I wouldn't have a wife.
How crazy.
Yeah, Mitchell.
I mean, it's just how we're intertwined and how our lives get mixed together and how the incentive from the company is to coach and mentor.
Yeah.
You know, I was saying this on some other videos. I'll say it again. You know, it's amazing to me how many life coaches and business coaches and gurus. It seems like every Facebook ad I see is some guru trying to sell me They're going to teach me how to, you know, get rich and not that, you know, it's not. I'm not trying to put that down because I think there's a market for that.
Yeah.
But I think there's only a market for that because so few people genuinely take an interest in someone else. The way you took an interest in me, the way you took an interest in Tuan, the way you take an interest in Jesse and other people. And that's the true art of mentorship and passing knowledge to another in the purest form and really doing it out of a desire to help that person rather than just trying to get profit. And that's why I think some of these coaches pop up. And what's beautiful about what we do in network marketing is we get paid to coach people. And you fall in love with it along the way.
Right.
Maybe it started off as a financial thing, going, all right, if I'm going to help this kid, it's going to help me some way. And maybe not because of the way that structure was. But over time, we had this friendship, this relationship that was, you know, unbreakable. And, you know, here we are. And we've gone through all sorts of crazy stuff together.
Yep.
But here we are.
And here's something, too, is that my first mentor was my father. And you went to Jersey with me one time and met him.
Man, what a remarkable experience meeting your dad.
And he was, you know, he was my mentor because him and then personal development and reading the books because I only went to 12th grade. I was 17 years old. I graduated high school. I went off to the Marines. I was a Vietnam combat veteran at 18 and 19 years of age. And I come back, and by the time I was 20, before I was 21, I was married, I had my son, and owned my first house, and was working 7 days a week, right around the clock, trying to pay for it all, and you know, like on a treadmill to nowhere, running really fast, and you know, one of my brothers gave me a book to read, personal development. It changed my life, and I'm reading book after book after book, and writing goals and being on that path. Is that path and to be able to change my own life that way. I mean, when I ended up with that office in the 87th floor of the World Trade Center in Manhattan, the #1 World Trade Center, and watching airplanes fly under the window, the last time I was there before that, I was there on a tour. And I was like, wow, look at this building, you know? And it was like, I was as a young guy in my early 20s when I first went into real estate. I was mesmerized. I was totally blown away. I'm actually here. I have an office here. What is this? This is insane. How did I get here? And it was from personal development. And it was from my father and my father coaching me and telling me, and you know, because I remember he took me into the warehouse one time at the appliance store that I worked at, and I had a bad attitude. I had a rotten attitude. And my father would let me know that I had a bad attitude. And, you know, he just told me I had a bad attitude. And he said, and my brother Donald had been able to, he was younger than me, but he didn't go to the military, so he could sell. And he did advertising and marketing for the store. And I was the guy working on the truck. I was on the truck. Like, what am I doing on the truck? He's doing sales. And then I got in a fight with one of my other brothers. I had a cast on up to my elbow. And my father had to come to help me one time, only one time. He had to come help me get this double up into the second floor of his house on Grove Street, North Plainfield, New Jersey, spiral staircase. I couldn't get it up there, couldn't hold on to it with the cast. And then afterward, we're back in the warehouse, and I'm having this attitude adjustment conversation with my father. And my father said to me, my attitude is terrible. I said, well, my attitude is terrible. I'm not happy. And my father said to me, he said, you know, what we pay you by the hour isn't what it's about. It's the problems that we give you to solve. You see, I can put your brother Donald on the sales floor. I can put your brother Donald on the truck. He can do either one, but you can't sell. And you want to make more. You're only going to make more when you learn more, so that you can do more, so that you're worth more. You don't get more because you want it. You feel like you need more. Your friend has more. You saw more on TV. None of that nonsense. You have to earn it by becoming more. So you better get on the path of learning to be more. So I went to my brother and I said, how'd you learn that stuff? And he gave me a book. And it was my first book on personal development, and I wrote my goals in there.
Can
and
you tell him? I know the name, but can you tell him?
The first book was Cosmosis, and the second book was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And then I read, and I did the 5 Great Rules of Selling. Psycho-Cybernetics, 5 Great Rules of Selling with Dale Carnegie. I took the class, Attention, Interest, Conviction, Desire, and Close. I remember that to this day. And I became a student of personal development, and it changed my life forever.
Now, for a lot of people that may not understand that term exactly, what is personal development to you? What does that mean?
Growing to become the best person that you can be yourself. And it isn't like being the best electrician or the best real estate person or the best salesperson. It's being the best who you can be and who you are, not who somebody else is or somebody else expects you to be. And it comes from self-actualization and realizing your true human potential. And you know, too many people have this misconception that, like, I graduated school and now I've got my degree, even if it's a college degree. Now, hit me, I've got my degree. Now, don't the jobs come? Don't I get rich? You know, it's like network marketing. It any different. It's success is a journey,
that
like
is
life.
True. My God, Ben, like, man, that just hit me, because you're like, people they get network marketing, they buy their kit, they do whatever. They're like,
hit me, make me rich. Yeah. Oh, I got a degree.
It's like you're in Vegas.
I got my college degree, and I got it from a really good school. So don't I get a job and get rich now? They don't understand that it's a learning experience forever until you die. It's never over. And Paul Meyer would tell us that, taught us that. And you know, on that day in that warehouse, my father drew a circle and with lines through it, and drew the wheel of life, which you and I'll do the whole wheel of life for people someday. And but he did the wheel of life, and then the next time I saw that was 31 years later in Waco, Texas, with Paul Meyer. And we opened the book, and right there was the wheel of life. And I went, my father told me this, and 31 years later, you're the guy that created the wheel of life, and I'm with you. That's called a clue. I was on the right path. Just took me a little while to get there.
Oh my goodness, man! I enjoyed being around you so much. That was all that stuff. And guys, this is what was pouring into me nonstop as a young man. Just going, you got to be more. You got to become more. You can't just sit around and hope to get rich. You're not. No one's just going to give you money because you want it. But you can learn to be more and become more. And when that happens,
you're worth more.
Yeah, you're worth more to the marketplace, and it'll happen. It'll come. And I remember so much. I wanted to believe it. For me, I believed you. I believed that what you were saying was real, but it was hard for me to believe it was for me. Like I could do it too. Like it was really going to happen. And you know, obviously.
By the way, I can remember when I felt that way too.
And I remember you telling me that.
Exactly the same thing. It was exactly the same thing. Come on, I mean, like it's like I didn't go to Harvard Law School or anything, you know, but I did later in life hire a lot of PhDs and MBAs. They're really good workers.
I remember you telling me that. You're like, you know, you didn't do that, and
because they knew more than me about certain things. But the thing is, you can be whatever it is that you want to be if you can envision it and then make a plan and work towards that plan with consistent, steady effort every day. And if you hang out with the right people, you surround yourself with the right people, you're going to feed off of them. They're going to feed off of you. And one of the things that Paul Meyer taught us, and I remember this, I really like this one. He said, you know, don't worry about becoming really good at the things that you're really bad at and really don't like. He said, you're building something. Find people that are really good at what you really don't like, because they'll probably really like that. And you work at what you really like, because if you're really doing what you like passionately, you'll probably become really good at it. And then together you'll be a great team, and you won't step on each other because neither one wants the other guy's space. But together you can do something you could have never done alone. So you build a team. It's like these cameras. Like we could be here for weeks. I would have never been able to get this thing set up.
Yeah, you've been fine.
No, I would have never got it done. It's really great.
It took us a while.
And Twan, if you're still there, I want you to know we love you, buddy.
Let's see. Let's read a couple of these good ones here. Hey, we got Jesse McPherson in the house. What's up, Jesse?
Hey, Jesse.
What's up, Jesse?
All right, so we got YouTube Live over here. We got these cameras set up.
Come on around.
What's going on?
So let's see. Oh, Oris. Hey, Oris. What's up, buddy? Oris is a friend of mine who just started becoming buddies, and he actually took me from Dr. Ho's house in Los Angeles
Oh, wow.
to home. States or somewhere.
Jesse.
Johnny, wow, Chiho. Hey, what's up, Chiho? My brother's on. Matt Denny's there.
Oh my gosh.
I just saw you guys on live. I was like, I'm gonna drive over and say what's up.
Look, this is great.
This is great. This is great. You know, I hadn't been to an event in over 10 years and went to that deal there with Eric Worre, and man, has he become the master of the industry.
Shakira.
That was just so much fun, and all the people we saw there. I mean, I tell you, I was there, and I got so many hugs on the way home that night. I drove home.
Yeah.
I cried the whole way home. It was just like so touching. I mean, and all the success so many people have had. You know.
Hey, Maureen, we got Australia, Germany, we got Japan, South Korea, on all sorts of people from all over the world here.
Success everybody's had.
Hey guys, people from like all sorts of different companies all over the world.
Wow.
Jesse.
Yeah.
Glad you're here, brother.
Thank you.
Love you.
Good to
All right,
see
so
you,
Abraham Muhazy, what's up? Hey, Jesse, remember Abraham?
Of course. How do you not remember?
How do you forget the Abraham?
How do you
Muhazy?
forget the Abraham?
Wow.
What's up, buddy? Hey, the Canadians are here. That's right. Forgive me. Forgive me. Don't forget Canada. Canada is the deal. Canada is awesome.
Canada's doing it.
So love you guys. So hey, but as we're wrapping this up, and I know we got a lot of stuff to cover. We got some great stuff to put together. But as we're wrapping up the live stream here, I want to ask you this. And you said some pretty great things about how the legacy and what you leave is the most important. If you were to give, and you could probably give a lot of tips, if you're just going to give one real tip to the people here, a lot of them are leaders, a lot of them are running organizations, a lot of them, or at least they want to. What would be some final comments that you'd give to them, or something that you'd say as they're starting their journey?
Well, it depends on, it doesn't matter whether you're just getting started or if you're, already successful. It's the same things over and over. And I like what Paul Meyer said, to be a leader with a servant's heart. If you're in a company that you believe in the company, you believe in the product, you love your company, you're passionate about your company, then be passionate about what you deliver to other people. I would tell you that at the Eric Worre event on the Thursday night, and then the following morning, the first speaker up, that I've never met him, Jeff, heard his name, never heard him speak before, but it was Jeff Roberti. And Jeff Roberti was a defining moment for me in that weekend. And here's a guy that's made over $100 million in the industry in commissions, not owning the company, not selling people tools, but $100 million in commissions as a distributor. Now just think how insane that really is.
Yeah.
And that he was as humble as could be, and that in his story, he shared about how he had gained weight, and then he lost his focus, and then he focused back on taking care of himself, getting in shape so that he'd be healthy and in a position of energy to help others. And then he went and he focused on doing what was most important. And that was, he said, all your problems go away when you focus on somebody else's problems. All your troubles will go away when you focus on helping build somebody else. And he went to work as a servant again. Now, that doesn't mean that you waste time with the people that don't want to work, that don't want to do it, do the deal. They don't want to put the energy into it. But find the person who has that burning white hot desire to be someplace different than where they are, that they already know they want to be someplace different, but they have no clue about how to get there, but they're willing to let you coach them and to teach them, and that they take direction, they'll follow the system, they use the tools, they follow your direction, and then pour your heart and soul into that person. And you don't need to go get 1,500 people and recruit 50. You don't have to go recruit 100 people to do that. Find one person, then find a second person, then find a third person that really, really wants to do something, and then work with them to get them to where they become successful enough that they can become the teacher. And I remember when I came into the industry, I sat in the back of the room. I was way in the back of the room, and I knew that I was new. I had been an executive where I had been before. I knew nothing about this industry. I had to start all over. I had been humbled, had been knocked on my butt. I was flat broke like everybody else at the time. But I sat in the back of the room and I said, I'm going to work my way down to the front of the room and I'm going to work my way up onto that stage. And that was my goal. And that I went to work with the absolute conviction that I was going to make that happen. And to do that, I had to just, immerse myself into what it is. You go find the person that wants to immerse themselves into the business. You go find a Josh Denny. You go find yourself a Twan DeWin. You go find yourself a Jesse McPherson. You find the person that has that burning white hot desire, and then give them the just due and the time and the energy to become the success, and understand there is no success without successors. Build that culture with personal development into your team. And it won't happen instantly, won't happen overnight, but over a period of time, with consistent, steady effort, you're going to find yourself with an organization of people that'll freak you out. And maybe if you disappear like I did and left the industry for a decade, you come back and you go to an event that Eric Worre put on and look at all the people there that have had more success than I ever had. And they used to be in our group. And I'm just so proud to have been able to have worked with them. And the most exciting thing was to see how successful they become. That was just like, wow.
I love you, brother.
I love you too, Josh.
So we're going to be putting together some amazing stuff over the next day and a half, hopefully the next day. We're going to be putting together a great program. Be on the lookout for that. We're going to put out some great stuff. And no, it's not going to be, you're not going to have to pay for it. So that's good.
All free.
It's free. The
actually,
price,
it's not free. The price is you
got
to do the work.
The price is to get the gold and the wisdom that I'm going to be trying to extract here from the mind of this amazing man. You're going to have to go. You're going to have to put get the pick and shovel and go swing at it, and you're going to have to do the work. But the good news is it's worth it. I followed what this man told me to do, and I did it. It changed my life in more ways than I could ever describe. And today I live an amazing lifestyle. Not because I'm better, not because I'm special, but because I followed the plan. I followed the plan. I read the books. I listened to the tapes. I paid my dues. And Ben, you were right. You were right, brother.
And somebody else taught me. See, in 100 years ago, 200 years ago, you live in a village, and that the older people, the adults, would teach the younger, and then they became young adults, and they would teach the next generation. And we lost that sense of community. And one of the things I loved about network marketing is there is a sense of community and a sense of belonging. And the thing that touched me so much was that I got hugs like I had never left, and to realize that you don't find that in our society anymore. So it's not just about making money; it's about making a difference in other people's lives. It's about having fun. It's about building. It's about creating. It's about creating a legacy, and maybe some of us would be lucky enough in our life that be like David Stecky, 1,800 people showed up for his eulogy. And that, how big a rock, how big a boulder can you be thrown into the pond of life? How many ripples can you make? And after you're gone, how many people are going to miss you, and how many people are going to continue to talk about you? And what difference could you have made in the lives of others, and they in turn into the lives of others again? And with that focus, we're going to put something together, and we want to be able to put something together that we can just share and just give it away, but in an organized manner, so that you can take the pieces and grow.
Because we got some crazy stories.
Oh, we got great stories, third-party stories, and stories about people and have different individuals share. And at the same time is to teach, that there's a system behind this. It isn't just boom, 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 point in every direction, like no point at all. It's like creating a system so that you can feel yourself making progress towards your goal. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Ben King.
The
one and only Ben King.
Thanks, Josh.
Guys, massive love. Let's see if we got a couple questions. You mind doing a couple questions real quick?
No, whatever.
A couple questions.
What you got?
Let's see. Yep, it's so true. The older generation do know things that can help. That is true. Yes. Well, you figure the Noel Strang, great content. Thanks for sharing. Thank you, Noel. Appreciate it. Greg Bieberdorf, what's up, Greg? Javier, what's up, buddy? Miranda Beaven, hey, she's making some apple crisp now. That sounds good.
Apple crisp, I like that.
Sounds awesome. Angelica loves it. Elizabeth says, great. Best new book ever. Joel, Awesome.
Oh, that's a
I
great
think you're
book.
talking about my book.
Your
No,
book is great. No, it's a great book.
Mike McVeigh, what's up, Butter? Good to see you, man. Let's see. A lot of good people on here. Jessica Sullivan. Hey, Jessica. Anyway, let's see if we have any questions. Mike Sims, what's up, Mike Sims? What's up, buddy? We got the Mike Sims on in the house. He's like, I want to be like you all when I grow up. Mike, we hope we don't keep growing. I'm trying to grow up, man.
If you go sit on my shoulders, then we still won't be as big. It's tall.
You're a good man, Mike. Brad Daddy.
Oh,
Josh, I appreciate everything you do. You've made a difference in my life. This was great content. Thanks, Brad. I appreciate that, my brother. Massive love. I did get the email today. I got to get back to you with that. I'll do that right away. Let's see. Chris, thank you, Chris. John Aguilar. Ben, are you
John
teaming up with
Aguilar.
Josh?
John Aguilar.
John Aguilar, yeah.
Out in the desert. How you doing, John?
All right, man, John's doing great. We Greg Bieberdorf. I'm glad to catch a little of this. We want to rewind it, man. This guy was dropping nuggets of gold and happiness. I'm talking, like I was just sitting here going, man, I want more. I want more of this happiness. So I'm gonna dominate his time right now. I love you guys. Sorry, we're gonna have to turn off the cameras now, but we are gonna be back tomorrow with another live broadcast. Make sure you tune in. And
yeah, you know, we have so much that we can talk about, and one of the things that Josh had suggested, and I think it's a great idea, is if we can put together in a sequence to where we can help people build, no matter we don't whatever company they're in, whatever they're doing right now, but give them and there be other people out there looking for a company and how to pick one. Which would be the same thing. So if you're a leader and you're building in your company, you're building an organization, the steps and the pieces. And if you're looking for a company, what you want to look for, because it'll probably be what that leader that's out there is putting together.
Right.
And so attraction marketing, attract them by providing for them what it is that they need for them to be a success.
This is going to be fun. Fun times. All right, guys, massive love. Love you all. See ya.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Oh, wait, I got to do this way.
All right. Is that off now?
Cool. That's off. Let's stop broadcast over here. We can